Thank you first for speaking for NEWSMAX. The Balkans, a lot of things going right now about the Iranian situation in the Middle East. And my first question will be, how realistic is the possibility of US ground forces being deployed in Iran right now at this stage? And what would be the key trigger for such a decision here from Washington?
It would be a very distinct possibility. First of all, thank you for having me. Um, there is a lot of soldiers, thousands of soldiers from the Marine Corps and the 82nd Airborne that have been deployed. So there's a very, very, very good chance. Um, the trigger from Washington, I'm not quite sure. There could be a lot of different things could be happening. Could be unrest, could be a push from Iran, it could be a missile strike, could be a lot of different things. But personally, I would prefer that they not deploy ground soldiers because that escalates the war, and I hope that cooler heads will prevail.
Mhm. We are seeing a significant military buildup in the region, including additional American troops, as I can say that. In your view, is this primarily a deterrence strategy or preparation for possible ground offensive, maybe?
I would like to think that it's a deterrent strategy.
Mhm.
Yes, it's a lot of troops and a lot of muscle movement, a lot of manpower. But again, um, even though we have a very powerful military, whenever you deploy ground troops into hostile forces, into a hostile area, you don't know what's going to happen. Just
Mhm.
like in Iran and Iraq, there's two different countries there. When we went to Iraq, Iraq is a very flat place and it's easier to attack. Iran is mountainous and there's lots of places to hide. And if you got those troops on the ground, there would be some very good opportunities for them to die. So again, we would have to do a lot to make that happen. I'm not saying maybe there's something that I know that I don't know, but from my experience over there, I would rather not see ground troops.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of different messages from Tehran, from Washington. And my question will be, do you believe the administration is still prioritizing diplomacy with Tehran, or are we now and some moving closer to a direct military escalation involving boots and on the ground, actually?
I believe that President Trump is still prioritizing diplomacy.
Mhm.
We do not want to kill any more people than we need to. I know that's an American doctrine. We want to do this without killing people. We want to do this without losing people. We
Mhm.
also don't want to interrupt the economy. The world's economy, 20% of the oil in the world production goes through that Strait of Hormuz. And losing one of those oil tankers would be a very terrible thing and also
Mhm.
create an environmental disaster. So let's hope that we can work this out. Let's hope that we can talk this through. We've killed all the military targets, or at least most of them, but there's also a diplomatic portion here. There's also an economic portion here that needs to be paid attention to, and an informational portion as well. So we don't know which side is telling the truth because remember, here we are in Iran, but there's no journalist like you in Iran that I know of. You get CNN, but everything that comes out of Iran from the journalist perspective
Yeah.
is approved by the Iranian government. So you don't know exactly who's telling the truth here. And so, like I said, I would very much like to see things slow down, let cooler heads prevail.
Let's see that in the future, but I have one more question for you. Given that experiences from Iraq and Afghanistan, how politically and military risky would be for US ground intervention in Iran before President Trump and administration right now? We see a lot of different messages here actually in Washington between Republicans and Democrats. What is the solution for that right now?
We're not exactly sure. We're in a tough spot, I would think an unprecedented spot right
Mhm.
now. I didn't expect them to start this war, to tell you the truth. But yes, we cannot allow a state like Iran to have nuclear weapons. It's
Mhm.
just not wise. And we've got too many countries in my world that have nuclear weapons, and Iran is a very unstable place. And they have fomented war all over. So you don't know exactly what the diplomatic overtures are going to be. I'm just hoping that President Trump and his team talk to the leadership of Iran, give them an opportunity to recalculate their position, and hopefully we won't have to put boots on the ground.